I came up with that, baby, goodbye. And I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it.
Hey everyone, today I'm joined by Hunter Blair Ambrose, and her new single, Baby Goodbye, comes out at midnight. Hunter, how are you feeling about the song being released?
So excited. Can't wait for everybody to hear it finally. I feel like I've been hyping it up forever at this point.
I remember hearing a snippet of the song as far back as November, and I've definitely been excited for the song because it feels like it's saying goodbye to all the things we want to leave in the past. And I know you posted that around the time of the US election, but when you wrote the song, what were you thinking about? What were you eager to leave in the past?
Well, I'm not sure if I touched on this in the last interview that we did, but 2020 was, I don't even need to say it was awful for all of us. And I think that to a certain degree that the emotions that went along with how terrible that year was probably influenced my songwriting. But on a more specific level, I think the song was written in the context of the album. I think the song was written more about me finally closing the door on that chapter that chapter of my life that influenced this album from the start, saying goodbye to all the baggage that went along with like failed relationships and a period of my life that was particularly not fun and tested me quite a bit, and just reflecting on a lot of the aspects of what went wrong in that situation, and being okay with finally taking the steps to move forward. And I think we can all relate to that to an extent, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it is hard to leave stuff behind, but because of the fun nature of the song, it almost makes it easy in the sense. It is very, on the nose. You're just saying a baby goodbye to the things you want to leave behind. And tell us about the production and the songwriting of the song, and how did it develop?
Well, I was just talking about this with one of my friends last night. The song was literally born out of I was in a hotel room in California, and I was working with my longtime producer. His name is Jason Strong, very good friend of mine, and I was freaking out because I had nothing prepared for the session that we both had planned in the morning. And if he ever sees this, he can definitely attest to the fact that a lot of the time when we have sessions booked and we meet up, I don't necessarily go in there with the song totally finished. I mean, he and I have a very collaborative process, and some of my best ideas have come, if not on the spot during the session, then last minute the night before. I think I work well under pressure to a certain extent. Songwriting wise, this one completely I did on my own. Lyrically, musically, I had a little portable MIDI keyboard with me that I take with me on the road, and I just plugged into my laptop. Simple chord progression, finished the lyrics, figured out exactly what I wanted to do with it, brought it to Jason the next day. And I think from the first listen, when I just played it on the piano that he has in the studio, because that's typically how we do it, I just play for him kind of my ideas on the piano and sing it, and then we start building the production. From the first listen, I think he was like, yep, you got one. You got a good one. And for those of you who are listening who don't know this song is kind of, it's me kind of going back to my roots in the sense that me and Jason together have done songs such as Right Now and November. Those two were done between him and I primarily. So this is kind of a return to form in that sense. And I think that he and I have really, over the last couple of years that we worked together, figured out a really good formula between the both of us that works. And I think this song is very exciting. We're both super proud of it.
So in that sense, you think it really relates to your sense of identity and where you're going with your music. You look back at Right Now and November, and I presume you developed on that, and you listened to those songs, and then you added bits and you changed bits to that formula and figured out the sound on the way. And if you're right, are you up for playing a game where we go through quick fire, we go through some questions, because there's a lot to cover, but it would be good just to go through and rattle off some fun questions if you're up for it.
Let's do it.
Brilliant. So where are you currently?
Boston, Massachusetts.
If Baby Goodbye was a film, what film would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Fuck. Kill Bill.
Oh, good one. And what's the biggest lesson you've learnt this year?
The last 12 months, I think that the biggest lesson I've learned so far is that when I lose myself in music and just really focus on my passion, I'm unstoppable.
That's brilliant, and that's testament to how you need to retain the artistry as you go forward. And Baby Goodbye is about moving on. What's your biggest tip for moving on?
Let yourself feel all of the emotions that you need to feel and process everything you need to. Take as much time as you want, and then find something like what I just said that you can totally lose yourself in and just go 1,000% into that. Something that, you know, makes you feel rewarded, gives you a sense of value.
Amazing. And what's your favourite item that you own?
Oh my God, my favorite item that I own? You picked really good questions. I'm like super materialistic. I'm a Taurus. Like this is what I do. One of my favorite things that I own is this little crystallized headpiece that you might recognize. I wore this on the cover of the EP, of the Scorpio Rising EP, and it's very heavy. And all these crystals are supported by this little flimsy headband, which is really weird. But this is definitely one of them. I'll always keep this for sure.
Because it has that sentimental value and it reminds you of when you were just starting out with your music. And I love that. And if Baby Goodbye had a remix and the remix had a feature on it, who would you want to feature on it if it could be any artist? This is quickfire.
Drake.
Who's your fashion icon?
This is not quickfire at all. Kate Moss.
Okay, and what's your favourite lyric in Baby Goodbye?
Turn to a vice, hand to the sky, love is a lie, baby goodbye, the chorus.
Excellent, perfect answer. And where feels like home for you at the moment?
In the studio.
How do you normally end a phone call?
I'll talk to you later, bye.
What's something you wish you could say baby goodbye to and leave in the past?
I wish I wouldn't have spent so much of my early 20s being really, really hard on myself for the mistakes that I had made and making myself feel like I wasn't good enough.
Good answer. And is it difficult to write music at the moment for you?
Right now, I haven't written anything in about a month, so maybe a little bit, but typically no. I write songs pretty quickly, so no.
Do you find it hard to keep a balance between promotion and creativity?
Yes.
And how do you like to end your day?
With some weed and some candles and some good music and maybe a workout before all of that stuff. And I don't know.
So for the kids at home, that's candles, music, and workout.
Maybe the company of like a really good looking guy if I'm lucky.
Exactly, you can write more songs about it.
Yeah, exactly. Who's the next album gonna be about?
Exactly, that's just roll them on. And if you had to say baby goodbye to a year of your life, which year would it be?
2017.
Damn. And in your next single, you say love is a lie. Do you still feel that way?
No.
Good. That's a relief to hear.
No, I don't. And I think just the place I was at mentally when I wrote that song, I was just really like pissed off. And in the grieving process of like a breakup or whatever, or like a traumatic experience, like I think we do have periods where we cry about it, we get mad about it, we have to process it again and again and again. You wonder what went wrong. You do like what if I would have done this? I should have done this. I should have said this. And in that moment, I was mad. I was just fed up with the situation and what happened. And I was just, I don't know. So luckily that song was born out of just a difficult moment. I don't think that's how I truly feel all of the time. But, you know, it's a great song. I think you can really feel the heat of the moment that I was in emotionally when you hear it.
Yeah, and I feel like those moments contain like a lot of blame. And did you feel like self-blame at that point?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the first lyric of the song is, I don't know if it's like, well, I think self-blame and regret actually do go hand in hand. And the first line of the song is, and it so encapsulates what I do to myself when I start to get like hard on myself for the mistakes I've made in my life. The first line of the song goes, I get lost in repeat regret. Was it something that was not said? And like, you know, I think a lot of us can hopefully relate to that on some level, just because it's like, God, how did this get so messed up? You know, like I keep thinking about the situation over and over and over and over and over again. Why? And then it's, what was the reason? To quote the famous meme.
Yeah, and you get stuck in a cycle, don't you? And it's so hard to break that cycle. And how did you break that cycle? And what would you say to yourself to make it easier to break that cycle?
Can I be like really real with you right now?
Yeah.
Because this has been a very difficult thing for me to learn in my life. I think I got to the place where I realized that, because for me and for this album in particular, the trauma and the music went hand in hand. If I didn't have one, I wouldn't have the other. So then it became a matter of, but then the emotional part of this started to like kind of swallow me up, and I wasn't being productive and I wasn't doing my job. And I just woke up one day and I realized the music is what I'm going to be remembered for. So I better put my all into this, because this is what's going to be around after I die. Not this relationship, not the stupid stuff, the text, the mistakes, the games that I played, whatever. All that stuff, nobody's going to care. After I'm gone, the music's going to live on forever, so I better just like put my all into that. That's what matters in my life at this point. That's what I need to focus on. And it brings me so much joy that it just totally transcended that moment of, wow, I'm so depressed about the situation that has taken over my life for so many years. I wish I could go back. I wish I could do this. I wish I wasn't in this place. And to answer your question, I don't really actually remember what the question was, but I got out of it because I threw myself into my music, because I realized that at this point in my life, bigger picture.
Exactly. And time is the biggest judge. Time will be the judge in the end, and you're so right. And in that sense, you know, you looked at the different options you had. You could get stuck in that repeat regret, or you could break out and put your time and energy into the music. And the music is what will be remembered, and you've got to say, baby, goodbye to the rest of the stuff, because that needs to be left in the past, and people won't remember that, and only you know, and you've got the power to tell that story in that story. And when people hear that story, when they hear the song, and although it's a pop song, what do you want them to take from it?
The main takeaway from this song is that no matter what moment you're in your life, no matter what you've been through, no matter how shitty an ex, whatever, was to you, or how shitty you were to them, whatever it may be, I'm not saying either is the case in this situation, but it's a moment in time. The future is limitless. So you have two choices. You can sit in a moment that's gone and waste your time being unproductive. And yeah, it's natural to be sad about something when it doesn't go right. But you can either let that consume you into being completely unproductive, or you can move forward and take that pain and bring yourself into a moment where you feel stronger to go on. And that's what I did with this album.
100%. And how does Baby Goodbye fit into the album as a whole? It's the second single. You've chosen it to follow Skin Deep, and I feel like Skin Deep is a song that's really quite sexy, and it's really quite, you know, it's really got that positive energy to it. But Baby Goodbye is then saying goodbye to something that happens. And so does the album share everything that comes in between?
I chose Skin Deep and Baby Goodbye to be the two lead singles because I felt like they were the best examples of two sides of this story, the good and the bad.
And I think that's a brilliant way of showcasing it. And when can people listen to Baby Goodbye?
Well, at the time of recording this, it's probably about 3:30 Eastern time. So it's dropping at midnight. It's coming out tonight. We are only a few hours away. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I'm really excited. I feel like this is a sea change in terms of my career. I think people are going to hear the song and this is going to be one that people go back to a lot. It's so addictive.
And I love that. And I love in your music there is that addictive pop, and there's no shame in the addictive pop because we love the addictive pop. And now you know that it's out right now. When you're watching the interview, the song is out. So Hunter, what should they go and do when they finish listening to this interview?
When you finish this interview, go to your favorite streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon Music, Tidal, YouTube, whatever. Stream Baby Goodbye by Hunter Blair Ambrose, available now. Everybody involved just did an amazing job, blew it away. Like, this is one of my favorite songs I've ever put out. I was gonna start thanking somebody who wrote it, but I'm the only person who wrote it. I'm the writer, so thank you to myself.
That's queen shit right there.
Yeah, thank you to me for writing a pop song that, you know, I think people are really gonna love and have stuck in their heads for like days. I was just texting one of my best friends about it because he came to my show. I just did a show in New York on Valentine's Day and I debuted it. And he texted me and he was like, can't get this damn song out of my head. It's like a disease, but a good one.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need a good disease. We've had enough of bad diseases. Bring on the good diseases. Thank you for joining me so much, Hunter. I've loved talking to you, and I really can't wait to enjoy Baby Goodbye like it's a disease. Thank you.
No problem. Bye. Very quickly, shout out a couple of the personnel who worked on this single in particular. I've already talked about Jason, who is an instrumental person in my career. Can't stress that enough. Can't stress that enough. I really want people to know that I would not be here in terms of be visible as an artist the way that I am. Now I have a long way to go. I'm not nearly where I want to be yet, but I'm just saying I wouldn't have had this boost of visibility without him. He's a very special person in my life. Also, Randy Merrill, who was the mastering engineer on this song, he is the main in-house mastering engineer at Sterling Sound. He did Chromatica. He did A Star Is Born soundtrack. He did Sweetener, Thank You Next, Positions, all your favorite major pop releases in the last 5 or 6 years. So shout out to him, did an amazing job. Travis Bruce, who is one of my other executive producers on this album, handled the mixing and the vocal production. Yannick Zechner, he recorded my vocals and also engineered some of my vocal recording and produced my vocals, and everybody involved just did an amazing job, blew it away. Like, this is one of my favorite songs I've ever put out.